Thank you again for joining us. Before I present our distinguished guests, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, Empower Africa is a business community with a mission to drive investment, trade, and job creation in Africa. We believe in trade over aid, and that business is the best way to grow, build, and create sustainable and scalable solutions. We believe in bringing good people together in the power of synergy. Our goal is to create connections, optimize communications, and maximize collaboration. The business community brings together SMEs and startups, investors, banks, PEs, VCs, and family offices, governments, multinational enterprises, all in one place. Here is a short video that explains the Empower Africa Business Network.
There is so much potential for a business to succeed in Africa. When looking to grow or enter into a new market, it's always more successful when you have the right partners and a supportive community. Empower Africa is a business community for qualified investors, businesses, governments, institutions, and nonprofits from around the world seeking to drive sustainable economic development in Africa. Those who become members of Empower Africa get access to our digital business platform, have opportunities to engage Empower Africa's members and partner organizations, and can attend exciting networking events. Meet with and learn from renowned speakers at one of our virtual networking events, where you can build business relationships with experts in your field and find new partners to offer your services to. Member companies can also have a booth on the conference floor and engage a vetted and quality community that would be interested in their products and services. For investors who are looking for deals or entrepreneurs who have exciting projects, becoming a member means you get deal flow or raise capital on the Empower Africa Business Network. This platform is a private business network with dedicated marketplaces and focused sector and country chat rooms to do business and stay connected from anywhere in the world. Become a member of Empower Africa today and drive business in Africa.
Thank you so much for taking the time to watch that short video. I've also posted in the chat an invitation for those of you who have not joined the Empower Africa business community. So if you just look on the chat on the right-hand side and click to join. Today will be a pre-recording of the podcast. It's around 7 minutes. And then we'll have a Q&A with Yussouf Ntwali. Now, I recommend it on the right-hand side of your screen. You can make the screen sort of full screen on the top right side of the screen. That's what I meant to say. And also on the right-hand side of the screen, there's a Q&A question and answers box there. If you click on that, you can put your questions there. So what we'll do now, we're going to be watching this great interview by Yussouf Ntwali.
Welcome, everyone, to our next session of Meet the Members of Empower Africa. My name is Shai Bernstein. I'm VP of Business Development and Partnerships at Empower Africa. And as you can see, we're having more and more of these because our business community is growing by the day. It's fantastic. Today, our distinguished guest, I want to welcome Yussouf Ntwali, founder and COO of Bag Innovation. Yussouf, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. Super excited to be here.
Yeah, it's good to catch up. And last time we met in person was in Kigali way back when. And so we also had the event in Rwanda that we met over cyber. So Please, Yussouf, tell us a bit about yourself.
Sure, thanks a lot, Shai. So my name is Yussouf Ntwali, and I'm an entrepreneur based here in Kigali, Rwanda. I work mostly in the edtech space. We run a company called Bag Innovation, which was set up about 4 years ago, myself and my co-founder, after realizing a massive problem in Africa when it comes to youth unemployment and young people struggling to really get into the workplace. And we decided to jump onto this problem, and so far it's been an exciting journey. So that's a little bit about myself. I'm an entrepreneur, creative problem solver. I'm always taking any opportunity to really discuss challenges that the African continent is facing.
Fantastic. Awesome. Could you talk a little bit about Bag Innovation? Tell us about it.
Yeah, for sure. So as I mentioned, youth unemployment is big in Africa, right? There's not enough jobs, but also at the same time, we have a lot of young people who are not graduating with the right skills that are needed for the job market. So when my co-founder and I met 4 years ago at a networking event, very randomly, we started talking about bouncing off some ideas and what kind of business can we start in Rwanda. And one of the things that kept coming back as we were speaking to various different entrepreneurs was that there was a lack of talented young people they could hire for entry-level positions. And that was very exciting for us because we started getting curious about the problem. Where is this problem coming from? So we went on to talk to universities, talking to young people, and really realized that universities were graduating young people and equipping them with skills that are not necessarily aligned with what companies are looking for.
Right.
And there was a huge mismatch when it comes to that. So we created Bag Innovation to really tackle that problem by going back to the companies and saying, hey, what are you guys looking for when it comes to entry-level employees? And how can we translate those needs from the companies into interactive assessment that young people can work with as they're going through university to gain the practical experience to jump into the workplace. So that is a bit about what we do. We have a digital platform where young people access various different company profiles, and then they're able to work with these company profiles to get an understanding of where these businesses are going and what kind of skills they're looking for. And we provide them career development advice throughout that journey, and using gamification to kind of make the interaction a lot more fun for the young people at the same time.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, it's definitely, as we all know, one of the biggest challenges, right? And I think you're tackling it, head on. That's tremendous. That's great. So, who would you like to be connected with within the Empower Africa business community or in general?
That's a very tough question. I think if you ask that to any founder on the African continent, there's just so many people who are doing great things all over the world. Right. But maybe for my own kind of like research and the people that I really look up to, who are building amazing things, I think the founders of Flutterwave, I'm looking at the founders of Andela, right? These are people who been able to really start companies in various different sectors and have these companies grow in a tremendous manner. And I believe that just meeting the team there to kind of like get the story of like, how do you come from idea stage to building a unicorn? Like, how does that work? Coming from Africa, I feel like that's really, really inspiring for a lot of us African entrepreneurs. And I feel like meeting these entrepreneurs would really be an inspiring moment, and it will be a lively kind of like conversation about how to take things forward. But also at the same time, I'm really looking into meeting people who've built edtechs before, people who've worked at education technology companies, to kind of like just get an understanding, how do you make education accessible for everyone? How do you make it fun and interactive for young people to continue seeing learning as an enjoyable experience?
Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. So first of all, remind me offline, we'll discuss that because I have some ideas. But to sum things up, I always like to ask a guest to share a different, quote or saying that they resonate with. So please.
Great. One of my favorite quotes, or something that I really resonate with, is action is the real measure of intelligence. I think Napoleon Hill said that once in a book. And the reason why I resonate with this is because when you're building a company, there's a lot of ideation that are happening. But a couple of years into the entrepreneurship journey, you realize that it's not really about creating strategy documents, but it's more the people who really grow the fastest are the people who do and make mistakes and learn from them. And I believe that when you really look at it in that perspective, action is the real measure of intelligence. People who've done stuff, built things in the past, are those people that we should be really looking up to and listening to. So that's one of my favorite quotes.
I love it. I love it. 100%. Great. Wonderful. Yussouf, great to see you. Thanks for joining us today. we'll take our discussion offline, and have a good one. Stay safe and healthy. All right.
Thank you very much.
Take care, man. Bye-bye. Cheers.
Thank you so much for your patience. We're just waiting for Yussouf to just come on.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Well, thank you so much. It wasn't myself doing the interview, it was Shai, but thank you so much for taking the time to join us in this. I know you're a very busy person, but thank you so much.
No, thanks a lot for having me. I would never miss an opportunity to speak to the community. So super excited to be here.
You're very welcome. Thank you. I've got a couple of questions for you. Before I just go through those questions, is there anything you want to say to us before? I mean, we've heard you do the short. Is there anything that's on your mind you want to share with the community?
Other than I'm super excited to be part of this community. I believe one of the things when it comes to entrepreneurship is always the connections. I think a leader that I look up to in Africa, Fred Swanika, when he was asked how did he raise $500 million, he said one relationship at a time. I believe. And I really resonate with that because I believe that in entrepreneurship, it's about really putting yourself out there and really meeting the right people. Partners, investors and customers might come from different networking opportunities. So, I'm always keen for networking, meeting people, and just really talking about the future. So,
wonderful. Yeah. That's good. I agree with that. Absolutely. I've got a couple of questions for you. What are your future plans?
Future plans. We are an ambitious team. We have ambitious goals. And one of the things that we want to be able to achieve is we want to become the largest edtech in East Africa and eventually taking over Africa and being a unicorn that's going to come out of Africa and potentially take over the world. If we can become the first edtech unicorn to come out of Africa, there's a couple of them who are already in that space, but in the space in what we're doing, we believe that we can really take a company from Rwanda and become the first unicorn coming out of Rwanda. So that's one of our biggest goals, but also at the same time, we want to reach at least every single student in Rwanda and East Africa and Africa to use our platform as a gateway for them to be able to get employed. So we want to put our product in the hands of every single African student. So yeah, those are some of our goals going forward.
I like it. It's great. We wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
To succeed. Amazing. Very exciting. Another question: are you planning to? Can you share some success stories with us? I mean, you talk about the students. Maybe just any success story. It's.
Of course, definitely. I think there's a couple. For the last 4 years, what we really started with was to try to identify a solution that would work and help businesses to be able to identify the right people for them by using a different approach to recruitment and talent placement. So what we're trying to do is, and our mission is that we want to be able to provide a virtual work experience for students before they graduate, so that when they get to the workplace, they're already ready for that specific job and they can perform really well. So a case study or an example of a success story was a company that started here in Rwanda, which is a fintech company. The founder came to us and said, "Hey, I'm really looking for somebody who can run my operations and really work with my company to grow." The founder was still a one-person company, and using our methodology, we were able to identify a couple of individuals, and there was this one young lady who provided various different virtual kind of like internship programs using our platform. And we got her to go through that, and she, obviously a couple of people are going through it, and she emerged as the top performing. And we matched that young lady to the company, and A couple of months later, when we went to talk to the founder, she said, "Hey, I'm so satisfied. I'm so excited to be working with this individual that I'm even willing to make them a co-founder or even give them shares in my company." And that was pretty impressive, right? Because this young lady was just coming out of university, not that much work experience, but using our approach to gain virtual work experience, she was able to land a job that potentially changed the course of her career. And now she's a country director for an organization here in Rwanda. So that's one of those stories that keeps us coming back to the office every day.
Oh man, I love it. That's amazing. I have two questions for you. What's the status of the Rwanda's tech space at the moment?
The Rwandan tech space. One thing I will have to say about the Rwandan, let's say even startup ecosystem and tech space as well, is that we're still a fairly new market. People who come from really established markets such as, let's say, Nigeria, South Africa, when they come here, you get surprised because there's a lot of things that still, haven't took off. I think fintech is becoming a thing here. Because we're, the Rwandan government is really investing heavily in having every single citizen access a phone so that they can make transactions with their cell phones, but also with the COVID-19, I think there was a lot of push for a cashless economy. So fintech is booming right now, but also that became a very eye-opening, situation for the edtech space. Because now universities are adopting technology to deliver their courses and curriculums. So we're still a fairly new market. However, internet connectivity is really good, and it's better than a lot of different countries. I would say even in the world, in Rwanda, which facilitates us as entrepreneurs to kind of like build technologies and not be scared that they're not going to get in the hands of our customers. So that's really great. When it comes to the tech scene, we have a lot of cool startups that are coming up, the key focus right now is really to show that companies in Rwanda are investable or investment ready, and really attracting the right investors to take the companies from here to another market. And maybe one last thing about the market is that we all know that Rwanda is a fairly small market. However, it's very, I would say, easy to kind of like set up the business, and it's because of the infrastructure that is very well established. You're able to kind of like get the product out there and do your proof of concept in the market. However, it also gives you room to kind of like start identifying what other markets to go to, which is something which a lot of markets don't necessarily provide. So I think that is something that is unique, or that I can say about the Rwandan markets. If you want to do a proof of concept, do it in Rwanda, and then potentially target other markets that are nearby for growth.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. One final question. Why are you passionate about education?
That's a very good question. Why am I passionate about education? I believe that educated people can achieve great things. That is a broad belief that I have. I believe that if you know if you have access to information, you're able to make the right decisions. And I believe education, in one way or the other, provides information about a certain topic or certain thing. And I'm kind of in between, because I'm in the future of work and education space at the same time. And because my goal when I started my entrepreneurship journey was how can we get as many young people as possible from school all the way into jobs successfully and in a very smooth manner. However, I realized that the problem is not necessarily that the jobs are not there, or it was more about how are these young people educated, right? Because I realized there are jobs out there, but a lot of people are not prepared for those jobs. So we need to really go back and rethink how are we educating these people to be ready for that. for those jobs. And I think that's where my passion for education came in, was, okay, we need to understand what is wrong in the education system. And through a lot of reading and a lot of interaction with really, really smart people who've been doing it for a lot of years, I developed this passion for human capacity development. And ever since, I think, it's just been my thing.
Wow. Thank you so much. Wow, that's brilliant. Yussouf, I want to say thank you so much to you for just taking the time today in your busy schedule to share with us what you're doing. To everyone else, I want to say thank you to you all for joining us today. We've now finished the presentation. You can go and you can network. If you'd like to find Yussouf, you can join the Empower Africa business community. And we are very thankful to see you all, and see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me as well, Joel.
You're welcome.
It's been fun.
You're welcome.
If
Thank you.
To connect, please feel free to connect.